Hey, my name is Teresa Valentino. I am a survivor of child trafficking, and I have written a book called Dear Jimmy about that experience. And one of the things, I got a letter from a lady who wrote to me at my other blog. I've been writing as an astrology and tarot writer for quite a while, and she wrote me some astrological questions. But the questions that she wrote me about were actually quite parallel to my own life, in terms of the emotional abuse of her mom and the physical abuse that was allowed to happen, obviously, with the abusive mom. She didn't get into a lot of details, but it's pretty straightforward. It's unfortunately, such a common thing. As I say in my book, you know, being trafficked as a child makes me marginal in society, not special. There's so many of us that have these kind of off the deep end violent experiences as children, and then because society has wanted us to just shut up about that, it's just an intense form of gaslighting that a lot of us have grown up with all our lives. So for me, this emerging moment of Me Too is really special and really meaningful, and I'm really excited that I was able to start this YouTube channel. So I wrote to her. I've been doing a number of advice things with tarot and astrology for Sandy, but I do want her to check out that 4-minute life elevator video that I have on my YouTube channel and my blog at teresavalentino.com, because I feel like tarot and astrology are only two of the tools in my mental health toolkit, and Sandy is a person who's had a lot of time to think it over about what she really wants to get out of life, and I think she's very close to being perfectly clear on it. In the tarot and astrology readings, I mentioned that she has a lot of really negative ways of thinking about and defining things, and that she also, Sandy, I guess I'm speaking directly to you, Sandy, you have sort of a tendency to be your own worst enemy in terms of judging yourself and your experience. You write things in here about that you called yourself a failure in marriage and in career and blah, blah, blah. And really, failure is just a negative judgment of yourself. That's going to be a real big challenge for you, is to stop judging yourself negatively. One of the big things that I came up with was the idea of never judging myself as inappropriate. Even when I make decisions or do things that are not my highest and best self, I can accept that I'm a work in progress, and that's okay with me. That was really difficult for me to do, but I think that if you can do that, that will take you really far in life. One of the other things that I'd like to address in this particular letter is, well, her actual question is, I understand how all the negative things in my chart have led me to where I am. How do I turn this into what I consider a positive future? And that's really a very brilliant question, because that's spot on the money. When you have this kind of intense negative experiences like Sandy and I do, it can be really easy to get down in the mud and wrestle with the pigs of all of your physical abusers and the parents who didn't care about it and all of the other people who followed suit. But that will only lead you to more misery and unhappiness. Everything, you know, you're letting the terrorists win when you do that, because really, I've done a number of videos about clapback. I'm going to make that into a whole playlist about clapping back, when to do it. But a large part of it is that a lot of people just aren't happy. They don't really feel fully alive. They're panicky about not screwing with people. If they are not screwing with somebody, they're not comfortable. So they come up with little tiny small ways to be obnoxious, and you know what I mean? So you have to find the key to finding positive ways to handle these things. Just to answer the question directly, is that that has to be your decision, that no matter what, come hell or high water, no matter what other people intend towards me, I'm going to extract the positive meaning because I can, because it's possible for me, and that's how I will get a positive result in my life. So I'm not just blowing smoke. I'm not just talking about theories here. I'm a child trafficking survivor with a mental health blog. So, you know, I found ways to, I'm still working on it, I'll be honest, but I find ways to be grateful for the things that I resent the most. And I think that would be a really good starting point for you, Sandy. I don't know if you're quite there yet. Again, I have to hear back from you before I really know what's what. But one other thing in this letter that I wanted to address here on this particular blog. Sandy said something about her mom that really felt like, wow, we must be two children of the same mother, you know? Oh, as an invisible person, parentheses, if your mother didn't care about you, no one else in the world will either, exclamation points, close paren, none of this matters to anyone except me. Every word of that, oh my God, I have felt that way my whole dang life. Honestly. That is a really remarkable phenomenon to me too, Sandy, and thank you for sharing that with me, because see how less marginalized I feel just by you writing me that letter and asking me for advice. I mean, we're advising each other. We're pulling each other up out of the same stupid ditch that all these dysfunctional, angry, pathetic, miserable people have shoved so many of us into. So maybe this is the time, this Me Too moment is when, you know, all of us come out from the margins together, because it's really kind of horrible to be like an army of us marginalized all together but can't talk somehow, even though we have the internet and everything. But times they are a-changing, honey. I've really seen it in the last year, just with the Harvey Weinstein thing, not to mention everything that came after that. We're already in a whole different conversation as survivors. So I would say to you to walk it back. Now, one very cute, clever thing that Sandy wrote in this letter to me was, I'm still going to bust her on it because it's not going to work for me. One thing she said that was great: after half a century of bowing to what everyone else wants, I have decided that I will not waver on my bottom line. Correct. Thank you. Go to the head of the class. Gold star for Sandy. I can be happily married to a chap of XYZ standing, or I will be massively wealthy. One of those fabulous single women who waft around the world on a cloud of Chanel No. 5, taking cruises, wearing colorful scarves and oversized sunglasses. I would say, Sandy, that just having looked at your chart, you are definitely going to be better off with option B. I would really love to see you not even messing around with men until you are already that wealthy, fabulous Chanel No. 5 lady that I know you can be, or you wouldn't even have that in your mind. See, that's the thing. Imagination and intuition are actually two different words for the same thing. So if you can imagine something, you are actually intuiting, right, a different version, a different form of yourself. That is you, again, in a different parallel reality. That's how that kind of an imagination can even occur and arise in your mind. If there were not a version of you living that sort of a life exactly, then that thought would not even come to your mind. You would think of something altogether different, like I might join a convent, or, I don't know, work for a real estate company that lets you live there for free. You know what I mean? But you only had those two options. The one that involves having a man rescue you, I vote no on that one, honestly. Wait until you are already wealthy and fabulous, and then find a man who is your equal. And I've discussed with you in the other blog with the woo-woo stuff about what that looks like specifically, like how to rethink your own self-image in terms of being the wife of the man you want to be married to, because with your astrological stuff, you probably have really bad taste in men, that you've set yourself up for, like me, one of these lives that is just a tough row to hoe. So I think that your goal of being the sort of fabulously wealthy and independent lady, that's totally doable for you based on the tarot cards that I looked at and what I've seen in your astrological chart. Finding your own self-appreciation and your own willingness to invest 100% of your energy into your life, that's the way to go. Because what's going to happen is you're going to get into a better place, attract a better quality of man, and it puts you into the right frame of mind to have that man work to be in your good graces, which is what really needs to happen. That's what really needs to happen. You need to believe that you are amazing so that you won't even waste time talking to anyone who doesn't get that. Once you begin to really bring that, overcome your mom's voice in your head, once you learn to really shut her up and find her ridiculous, the more you can find her silliness ridiculous or even be grateful for it, the better off you'll be. Very difficult, I know, to imagine being grateful to her for setting you up in this, but here's the thing. When they push you down so far, what it either kills you, if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger, yeah? So if they push you down that far, as they have to you and to me, and you still find a way to succeed and to thrive, let me promise you, my dear, I plan to be quite a wealthy woman, and I'm not planning on scrimping and saving. I'm not planning on pulling a millennia. Gross. Think about what you said there. I know you were just joking, and you're a clever writer, but oh my God, that she's going to pull a mini Melania? Disgusting. I would not be Melania for all the tea in China. I would not want to look like her if it meant being her on the inside, being married to him, letting him touch my naked body. Disgusting. No. So rethink that, honey. I think the Chanel cruise thing is way better look on you, and it will be more satisfying, and it's going to be easier to do in the first place, because really finding that man who's going to set you up into the life that you feel accustomed to or entitled to, or that you would like to be in, it's not even an entitlement thing. It's just that's what you want for yourself. It makes perfect sense to me. That puts the power for your happiness in someone else's hands. And worse yet, that someone is a man. In your chart, you don't really have a lot of room to be relying on men for your happiness. So I hope that that's helpful for you, and I appreciate you dropping by the blog. Be sure to check out the 4-minute life elevator technique that I did a video that I just referred Sandy to. I will link that in the blog. And then on teresavalentino.com, you can sign up for the next little while. You can sign up to get a free pre-release copy about 2 weeks before Dear Jimmy comes out. So be sure to check that out, at teresavalentino.com. And I'd love to hear your comments. I know I'm not the only invisible person. Me and Sandy are not the only two. I'd love to hear from you, man. Let's be like an invisible people, sleeper cell that rises up and makes the world awesome. All right? Thank you. Bye.